Now, as I understand it, following the Australian Royal Commission, they set up a national redress scheme. And as I understand it, the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses have decided not to join that scheme on the basis that they don't have the institutional settings that the redress scheme is designed to cover. Do you therefore believe that if, for example, the panel were in their final report to suggest that there should be some form of redress scheme for religious organisations and bodies, that you would take the same approach here in the UK?
We never said that we were against redress schemes as such. What we said was that the Australian one didn't apply to us.
Good morning, everyone.
And here we are again.
Well, there's a lot of news coming in,
There's a lot happening with conventions and, Watchtower getting handed their backside by investigative commissions.
Yeah, and that's why we're here. I want to thank Shane so much. And I'm going to put the link down below to his Twitter post and the New Zealand Commission's website, because yes, the report is out, the final report, and I haven't had a chance to read it all, so I want to thank Shane for posting this so that I can at least let everybody know it's out. But here in recommendation number 3, the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses should make a public apology and acknowledgement for the abuse and neglect in the care of Jehovah's Witnesses in New Zealand. And like we've said before, we know they won't, but they really need to do a worldwide apology, to all these survivors.
Well, the only way I see Watchtower apologizing is threatening to take away their 501c3. Hit them where it hurts, in their pocketbook. But then that's going to do a lot of damage too, because then they're going to have to acknowledge publicly that they've been hiding it. These are not apostate-driven lies. Now they have to publicly acknowledge that they've been hiding this and the amount of damage that they've been causing to Jehovah's Witnesses and families.
Or like in Norway, stop their federal funding and grants until they comply.
Mm-hmm.
We've done so many videos in the past, for the past, 10, 11 years, talking about, all the money they get from these grants. I remember a video we did years ago that they were getting farm grants for their Watchtower farms. And then, they started selling off a lot of that property.
Be no part of the world, right? But yet here they are, taking advantage of Satan's system.
Yeah.
You can't hide this hypocrisy no longer, Watchtower. You just can't do it.
Just like, 2-3 years ago, we were doing videos about the food boxes.
Yeah.
Those food boxes, they would put a letter in there, this blessing from Jehovah. No, it had USDA stamped on the side, and it was federal money that was paying for those food boxes. We had documents, and just so much. And, we've covered this many, many times. So, take away their federal grants and they might comply. I played the clip at the beginning from Gillies, because we mentioned Gillies the other day about how he was at the commission lying through his teeth. And like you heard, he says, this doesn't apply to us. Yeah. If you're not protecting kids, it applies to you. It doesn't matter if you have daycares or Sunday schools or not. How many kids have been attacked right in your own kingdom halls?
Well, there again, it doesn't apply, but yes, it does, because, their Thursday night meeting, it used to be the School of Theocratic Ministry, in the service meeting, here we go. Those kids in that audience, even on that level, are being trained and taught how to do door-to-door activity. Watchtower would even put the words in their mouths, and the parents would help with that process.
Well, look at, we did a video years ago with a little 3-year-old on the platform doing the Bible reading at a midweek meeting. Guess what part of the Bible he was reading? Esther. And he even says the rape of the queen.
Yeah.
So little 3-year-olds are allowed to do stuff like that?
Yeah.
And the king himself returned from the garden of the palace to the house of the wine banquet. And Haman was fallen upon the couch on which Esther was. Consequently, the king said, is it also to be a raping of the queen with me in the house?
So, you know, they're getting exposed. And I'm glad to see them under a microscope. You know, let them deflect all they want. But we all know. We all know. And the convention numbers prove that, don't they?
Well, to an extent.
Yeah. And I want to thank all of you so much for emailing us. And yes, we are starting another list for the nail and coffin, and we are happy to get all of you, and we will be doing that pretty soon. But I want to thank the emails from all of you who are paying attention to attendance numbers now at your conventions. And this one comes from the UK. Now, we've been wondering, you know, why is attendance so low? But we have another reason here. Recently, the Declare the Good News convention at Milton Keynes was underattended. Also, even my uncle didn't go and watched on Zoom instead. So this is what they're doing. They're staying home and watching on Zoom. And I wish we could have done that, because I would have just put the camera on and just listened to it in the background while I was doing other stuff.
Well, here again, I gotta ask, why even bother wasting your time watching it on Zoom when we all know all of these videos, convention videos, be put up on jw.org.
Yeah. And it's interesting because they say, and this is now a common practice in the congregation. So it's a common practice in the UK now to just listen to it on Zoom. And they said that stadium, the Milton Keynes, has a 30,000 capacity and includes a large amount of congregations. But even in the advertising, only expected to draw in 20,000. And what we're finding out is it wasn't just the, one there in Bakersfield and El Paso. This is how the Public Information Department, you were watching a video yesterday of an advertisement for the convention.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They're counting all the conventions for this summer in that city.
Yeah. And there again, it's nothing new. Watchtower always tries to, make the numbers appear bigger than what they are by, using little word whiskers, little salads. We hope to draw, we're planning on drawing. These assemblies in the past have the capability of drawing this amount of people. Well, here's the thing.
They can hope all they want. Doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yeah. Hope in one hand and poop in the other and see what you got more of. Because here's the poop in the hand.
Where do you get this stuff?
Just my natural, whatever you want to call it.
Ew.
Okay, so here's the poop in the hand, guys. Pennsylvania, 3-day convention, only drew a total of 11,076. So you take that 11,076, divide it by the 3 days, and it only comes down to 3,692, less than 4,000 a day.
Yeah.
Now, what was even interesting to note is that, typically we would always see the number rise up
On Sunday.
on Sunday. That number fell by 176.
Well, like I mentioned, They went home, they're tired, they're going home and not coming back. So they left.
The poop, it's weighing everybody down. And again, you guys shouldn't be surprised at how I'm saying anything, because I could have gone.
Surprised.
I could have gone wishing one hand and bullshit in the other and see what you got more of. You got more bullshit. That's why the numbers are dropping off. This was all predicted by Kim and I years ago, because we looked at it specifically from a failing business model. And it's going to take time for these guys to build that business model back up to where it was, well, let's just say pre-1975, because that fear mechanism made everybody in the world, my parents included, that the end was coming in 1975. And it didn't happen.
No.
It didn't happen. So that was nothing but a handful of bullshit.
And they were also predicting it in what, 85, 86? It was the the United Nations International Year of Peace and Security.
Peace and security.
And everybody's like, oh, this is, when Jehovah's going to bring it.
Yeah. Well, there again, they all went back to that scripture in Thessalonians, whenever it is that they're declaring peace and security, instant destruction upon them. Well, that didn't happen either. There's that bullshit weighing everything down again.
Yeah, even as witnesses, I never believed.
I didn't either.
Never believed that there was going to be this declaration of peace and security.
No.
Yeah.
There again, like I've said before, all these people do is take these scriptures out of context, historical context, and try to place them today with a level of value that don't work.
Yeah.
Especially cults like Watchtower. And in fact, what really does work is the fact that they're destroying families because of those texts.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. And many more are waking up and seeing that.
They're seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are seeing it.
And if you guys could see all the emails I've been getting asking to be the nails in coffin, you would see that, they are losing so many. Well, just like this email. Her uncle doesn't even go anymore. He just gets the Zoom meetings. See, and even when we first started hearing about the lockdowns, do you remember what we said?
Mm-hmm.
We said, this is going to wake up a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, because since they're not so busy going out in service and, studying and all of that, they're going to be waking up and taking the time to start thinking about things. And it's like, wait a minute. And that's exactly what happened. Many left. And I know some were scared and went back thinking it was Armageddon, especially when you got the governing body clown saying the final part of the last days.
So could you qualify them as being part of the 100 or so that leave in the afternoon because they just can't sit through this no more?
Probably. Probably.
Yeah. There again, it's real simple. The Apostle Paul said it. The scene of the world is changing, and so is its desire. And we're seeing at least this whole thing play out through the eyes of Jehovah's Witnesses. It's all changing, and so is its desire. See, at first, their desire was to publish the good news of the kingdom before the end of the system comes. Then it's, well, we got to publish the good news of the kingdom before the overlapping generation goes away. Now it's like, well, shit. What do we do? they have no way out of this, because, well, just like the scripture says, they're faint out of fear, not knowing the way out. How do you get out of this, Watchtower? You can't. And I'll tell you why. Because it's the internet and YouTube. Because the members that have exited know very well the control mechanism that you've been using. And now we're reflecting that back on you.
Yeah.
They don't know how to get out of this. They've only got one route to go, and that's to do what they're doing right now, propping up an old religious ideology.
Yeah. And, getting back to New Zealand and them recommending that Watchtower apologize, we know that the Australian Royal Commission told them to apologize to all the victims.
They didn't.
They never did. The UK Commission told them to apologize and join, if there was a redress, would you join? They never apologized. So they will never, just like Barreau, we will never, change the 2-witness rule. Well, they will never apologize.
Unless you threaten the pocketbook.
Yeah, and I really wish some of these governments, that's what they would do. It's like, wait a minute. They're not going to do this until we make them comply. And they just gave a talk on jw.org about, are you humble enough to apologize?
For example, we're all descendants of Adam. We all make mistakes. But does it take humility, lowliness of mind to acknowledge a mistake? Yes. Does doing so contribute to peace and unity? Without doubt. An apology. Does it take humility to apologize? And especially if we think the other party is more responsible or at least equally responsible for a tense situation? Yes. But for the sake of peace, we may determine that a humble approach is best.
No, they're not.
It just blows the mind. It blows the mind.
No, they're not, because this is what happens with big corporations.
Yeah.
They only care about the bottom line. It's money. It's not people. It's money.
Yeah. So thank you, Shane, very much for all the hard work you were doing. Really appreciate it. And I will put the links down below so all of you can see this. And Twitter, well, X now, has been posting a lot of the things from this report. And so if there's anything else that is of interest, we will hopefully get a chance to do another video about it.
Sure you will.
Yeah, because I'm actually working on another one that is really interesting, a little bit of history, and it's been taking me a while to work on that one because, so much other stuff. Summer is a really busy time for us.
Yeah.
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 So, you all have a wonderful day. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.